In the age of mass migration, when millions leave Africa in search of opportunity, a rare few moved in the opposite direction. They abandoned comfort, they rejected security, they returned to uncertainty, not because they must, but because they believed. This is the story of three men who walked away from life abroad. They built mega industries in Igboland, industries that today employ thousands, power factories, light up cities, and redefine what African industrial ambition looks like. From cables that electrify nations, to energy plants that power entire regions, to luxury resorts reshaping tourism in eastern Nigeria, this is the story of Cutix, Geometric Power, and landmark Resort Enugu, and the men who dared to build them. In the industrial town of Nnewi, Anambra State, known globally for indigenous manufacturing, one company stands as a symbol of African industrial excellence. Its name is Cutix PLC. Today, Cutix is Nigeria's leading manufacturer of electrical cables, supplying power infrastructure projects across Nigeria and West Africa, and listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. But its story began far from Nnewi in the United States. Engineer Ajulo Uzodike trained and worked in the United States, where he built a solid career in engineering and manufacturing. Like many African professionals abroad, he had access to comfort, stability, and opportunity, but something kept calling him home. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, when Nigeria was heavily dependent on imported cables for electricity projects, Uzodike saw not just a market gap, but a national vulnerability. Power cables are the arteries of any economy. Without them, factories shut down, hospitals go dark, cities stall. Uzodike made a radical decision. He returned to Nigeria, not to trade, not to import, but to manufacture. In 1982, he founded Cutix Nigeria Limited in Nnewi. At the time, indigenous industrial manufacturing in Nigeria was rare. Power infrastructure materials were dominated by imports. The idea that a Nigerian-owned factory could compete with global cable giants seemed unrealistic. But Uzodike had something more powerful than capital. He had vision. The early years were brutal. Imported machinery, foreign technical standards, unstable power supply, and limited access to industrial financing. Yet, Cutix persisted. Instead of cutting corners, the company invested heavily in quality, achieving international standard certifications and building production capacity that rivaled multinational firms. Within a decade, Cutix Cable was powering public infrastructure projects across Nigeria. By the 1990s, Cutix had become Nigeria's leading cable manufacturer, a supplier to government power projects, a publicly listed company, a major employer in Anambra State. But its greatest achievement wasn't just commercial success, it was industrial sovereignty. Cutix proved that Africa could manufacture complex industrial products, not just consume them. Cutix transformed Nnewi into a deeper industrial hub. It created thousands of direct and indirect jobs. It reduced Nigeria's reliance on imported cables. It trained local engineers, technicians, and factory workers. And perhaps most importantly, it inspired a generation of Igbo entrepreneurs to believe that manufacturing, not just trading, was possible. Today, Cutix exports across West Africa and remains one of Nigeria's most respected industrial brands, all because one man left the comfort of the West to build at home.
Cutix PLC was incorporated November 4, 1982 as a private limited company by Dr. Ajilu Zodike. Commercial production started in 1984, the first private company east of the Niger to go to the public through second-tier Nigeria security market in 1987 and migrated to first-tier in 2008. It's 100% owned by Nigerians and has 100% Nigerian workforce. Its mission is to power and illuminate the world. Our distinction: 99% pure copper purity, low resistance of conductor on both temperatures, good insulation resistance, properly annealed copper conductor, flame retardance, good strength of insulation, properly galvanized steel wire, complete dimension. Cutix cable is very durable. Cutix cable has products such as house wiring cable, armored and non-armored power cables, overhead conductors, aluminium service cables, flexible and automotive cables. Cutix has the capacity to make 3,000 metric tons of insulated cables per year. Our core values are boldness, excellence, innovation, integrity, openness and proactiveness. Cutix PLC has won several awards, including the following: the President's Merit Award of the Nigeria Stock Exchange for Corporate Excellence for a record of 7 times, the Nigeria Industrial Standards Organization NIS Award for Quality from Standards Organization of Nigeria SON every year since 1993, the National Automotive Council NAC Award for Quality in 1999, ISO 9001-2015 certification.
If Cutix powered factories, geometric power powered an entire city. In Aba, Abia State, Nigeria's legendary industrial and commercial hub, electricity shortages once strangled productivity. Tailors couldn't sew, manufacturers couldn't operate, markets shut down at sunset. But one man refused to accept darkness as destiny. Professor Bartholomew Nnaji was not just another diaspora professional. He was a former Nigerian Minister of Power, a professor of robotics and engineering in the United States, a senior figure in global energy policy. He lived comfortably abroad at the highest levels of academia and governance. Yet, he saw something terrifying. Nigeria had power, Nigeria had talent, Nigeria had demand, but Nigerian lacked execution. Rather than complain, he returned, and he chose Aba. What Nnaji proposed had never been done before in Africa. Not a power plant alone, not transmission alone, not distribution alone, but a fully integrated power system, generation, transmission, and distribution, all privately owned and locally operated. It sounded impossible. Regulatory battles, political resistance, infrastructure sabotage, and funding bottlenecks. Yet, geometric power persisted. In 2013, the company completed a 141 megawatts power plant in Aba with dedicated distribution lines, serving 9 local government areas, but bureaucratic disputes delayed its operation for nearly a decade. For years, a finished power plant sat idle, a symbol of Nigeria's infrastructure paralysis, until finally, in 2022 and 2023, Aba Power Plant went live and Aba changed. Factories reopened, manufacturers extended shift, production costs dropped, new investors arrived, markets stayed alive after dark, tailors walked through the night, small businesses scaled. Geometric power didn't just supply electricity, it revived an industrial ecosystem. For the first time in Nigeria's history, a city had stable localized power, independent energy infrastructure, a private sector-led electricity system, and once again, it came from a man who left the comfort of overseas life to battle Nigeria's hardest infrastructure problem on home soil.
Electricity plant geometric power. Integrated Power Solutions Model Plant, an initiative of former Minister of Power Professor Barth Nnaji, targets residents of Aba and environments with 9 local government areas and 3 million people benefiting. Professor Nnaji told Channels Television in an interview that the power station is a new revolution in power generation in the country.
It's a full utility unto itself, in that we built a 27-kilometer gas pipeline to supply gas to the project, to the power plant. And we built metering stations at both ends of the gas pipeline. So, as a matter of fact, we built the metering infrastructure inside Shell gas processing station, which now is an NEPL gas processing infrastructure. So that the gas is taken directly dedicated to the power plant. We built a power plant that for capacity of 188 megawatts. We've now commissioned 141 megawatts. The 47 additional megawatts will come soon. And the thing about the amount of power that is commissioned is that if you look at Enugu Disco gets somewhere in the range of 300 megawatts. And so this power plant supplies approximately half of what the entire Enugu Disco, which supplies 5 states, power.
While Cutix powered factories and geometric powered industries, another man saw opportunity in something Nigeria rarely invests in: leisure, tourism, and hospitality. In a region known for commerce, trade, and manufacturing, he envisioned something else: a world-class resort destination right in Enugu. Landmark Resorts was founded by a Nigerian diaspora entrepreneur who had lived and worked abroad, exposed to international hospitality standards and tourism economies. Instead of building hotels overseas, he returned to Nigeria, and after his resort was demolished in Lagos, he chose Enugu. Instead of building a standard hotel, he built a destination resort. Landmark Resort emerged as one of Eastern Nigeria's most luxurious hospitality projects, combining premium accommodations, event spaces, recreational facilities, leisure tourism infrastructure. In a region historically underserved by high-end tourism investment, Landmark Resort became a statement. Igboland is not just for business, it is also for luxury, for culture, for leisure, and for global standard hospitality. Landmark Resorts did more than just host weddings and conferences. It created hundreds of hospitality jobs, stimulated Enugu's tourism economy, attracted domestic and diaspora visitors, raised the standard for hospitality development in the East. More importantly, it helped redefine Eastern Nigeria's image from purely commercial hub to lifestyle destination. Once again, the pattern repeated. A man left overseas comfort, returned home, and built something transformational.
A number of reasons. So one obviously is in the space that we're passionate about and we have real experience in, and which effectively is creating sort of leisure lifestyle destinations. We want to create a whole series of leisure lifestyle destinations along the region, literally along that West African coastline. And we've picked places based on a number of things. Obviously, one is just the environment of the space, the governance around it, and the will and the desire of that city to create a tourist attraction. 2 is the numbers and the people. And 3 is cities that have historic significance and lend themselves to creating a leisure and lifestyle environment. So Enugu falls right into that pot. There's a small emotional reason as well. I went to university in Nigeria in the Enugu campus, and this resort was opened as I was leaving in the 80s. And I would arguably say that it was probably the best tourism or tourist resort, I would say in Nigeria, probably West Africa at that time.
So it aligns in so many other ways for you as well, and as for groups. So the timing is also really great, I would imagine. Timing
is great.
Right.
It's 150 hectares, it's got size, it's got scope, it's got real potential. We all know what happened. Now we've decided to take the best parts of our business, take the experiences that we've had, right, and figure out a way of diversifying. So over the last 8 months, we've looked and done incredible research across West Africa, and we've handpicked 12 different locations. that we feel tick all the boxes. To be fair, many of those locations are opportunity-led because they're either governments or platforms that encourage tourism to an extremely high degree.
Across Africa, the dominant story is departure. Leave home, leave uncertainty, leave dysfunction. But this man told a different story. Dr. Ozodike returned from America and electrified industries through manufacturing. Prof. Nnaji left global power institutions and literally powered a city. The founder of Landmark Resort left international hospitality markets and redefined leisure tourism in eastern Nigeria. They didn't wait for government. They didn't wait for perfection. They didn't wait for permission. They built, and in doing so, they proved something revolutionary. Africa's future will not be built by those who escape its problem, but by those who confront them. If these stories inspired you, then understand this. The greatest form of patriotism is not words, it is construction. Not protest, but production. Not escape, but return. These men returned and rewrote their region's destiny. And the next one could be you. If you believe Africa's future must be built by Africans, then subscribe to 1010 Media. Like this video, share this story, and stay connected to the movement redefining Africa's excellence. Because greatness does not come from running away, it comes from building at home.